Ladies and gentlemen, I am back from a nice little vacation. Jason TCP Super System, the stock and crypto analyzer that I use to identify opportunity zones in cryptos and stocks. Truly unique and original to this channel. I built the system. You cannot get this anywhere else. So if you appreciate good technical analysis on these markets, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. Continuing to approach 600 subscribers. So appreciate you all. Love y'all. Just trying to do this to educate and inform, identify these opportunity zones as part of your research efforts. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Nothing I say is financial advice. System signals, interpretations, my trades should not be emulated. Again, not recommendations to buy or sell. Consult a licensed advisor before making any trades. You could lose all your money. All right. So I know it's been a few days. So again, hope people return to watch the videos. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. So we're going to get started tonight. Maybe a little bit longer video because it's been a minute. So I just want to kind of show y'all where we are on some of these major crypto projects. Obviously we've had pretty much a lot of action in the market here of late. I've seen some downward pressure. Had a nice bump today over 5,000 up on Bitcoin. Obviously, we've had some more ETF action out there in the marketplace. Today was another day. Chainlink ETF and another XRP ETF. Multiple more, or a significant number of additional XRP ETFs on the way this week and throughout the rest of the month of December. So really exciting times for the XRP holders out there. XRP Army, I love you. But yeah, so on Bitcoin here, you can see that this is the same zones that we've identified previously. So you can see we've kind of been bouncing in and out of it. And if you go back and look at those videos, the last videos I had, I told y'all we were starting to see positive signs, but this white line, again, we always want it up here in these extremes, but the orange and blue line, they never even made it to the green zone. And then what happened? It rolled over and you saw this big downward action again. And as we hit in these zones here, again, remember, there's lots of leverage here. That's why we're identifying these green boxes. That's where your leverage zones are. So you're going to see a lot of liquidations in these areas. And then as they dry this leverage up out of the market, you can see the upper zone again remains basically 128 to 140 on Bitcoin. I still think we're going to see that this cycle, so we'll see. So I just want to show you that. So again, you can see we're back up again above the red zone, the white line, and our standard deviations. Orange and blue still are not where they need to be, so we could see this thing come down again. So be careful here. This is not really a great zone, but there is one thing I do like here, and you can see if I zoom in here on the daily view, we're actually above the cloud. So we penetrated down a second time, we came back through it again. Typically when that happens, you run up to these zones up here. These are the moving averages, and then you retrace back to the cloud. So if we do get a pump here, we're talking about 104 to 108 potentially, and then we can see a retracement and then a move higher. So we'll see what happens here. So I do like the fact it's above the cloud, but this is, we are flirting with danger here because again, the orange and blue lines are still down in those lower extremes, which is still pressure. So watch this one carefully. We'll probably come to you a few more times this week just to provide updates. And then again, on the weekly chart on Bitcoin, you can see we had the level 2 diamonds over here, which was right down here in the middle of this zone. And then we obviously from that point we did get a little bump higher, but still, this really, I think there's still a lot to happen here. You can see on the weekly we were bouncing right off the 100-day moving average, so that is an area of support. So it makes kind of sense here. And again, I want you to see something that's really funny. On the weekly view, if you look at the bottom of the cloud, which is typically when we bounce off the support, you usually go back to the cloud, then you resume lower. Well, the bottom of that cloud just so happens to be 104,000. Well, what's funny? Look where that 104 is. It's right in this area of these moving averages. Makes a lot of sense, folks. So that's Bitcoin. We got to go XRP, of course. And then I am, just so y'all know, I am going to probably look at two tokens that we haven't really talked about a whole lot on here, and I really, 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 really like where they are on the charts, and that's Jupiter. I think AVAX is one of them, or Avalanche, and what was the other one? Oh, Aptos. So Aptos and and Chainlink, because obviously the ETF today. So we're going to look at all those today. But I kind of really do like Chainlink and Aptos right now, and Jupiter right now. Those three specifically. So I will show you those charts here after XRP. Again, XRP. Again, we're bouncing in and out of this zone here. This first zone that we have identified. We had made it down here back on, was that November 21st? To almost to the top of that second zone we identified. Obviously now it's retraced, or I guess pumped back into that cloud. And again, this is kind of like we are on Bitcoin, kind of in no man's land here, right at the cloud. So this thing could go either way. And again, if you look at the standard deviation methodologies, again, white lines only in the green, orange and blue are still below the green. So this doesn't scream pump just yet. So I still think there's some liquidations that could take place. But so we'll see if this thing turns over and continues down into this zone again the second time. Again, we're not seeing any red on the hot sensors on the daily view, nor are we seeing that on the weekly view. And we've only got level ones on the weekly view. So I would not be shocked to continue to see some weakness on XRP here. I do like the fact we're back above $2. I think that's a huge, basically a huge holding zone of support right here. I would prefer it not really go much below $2, but these are the zones for leverage. Again, you can see on the high end, we've got two big zones of leverage up here over $3. So I would love for this thing to go well over $3 first, or go ahead and pump up there. But we'll see which way it goes first. I just wouldn't be quite ready just yet. Of course, for transparency, holders of XRP, we never sell XRP. We only add to our existing bags. So these are the opportunity areas I would do that in. But again, not telling you to do that. Do your own research, make your own decisions. But that's how I interpret this chart. Aptos. Look at this. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So a couple different things here that you don't see on the other two for Aptos, and that is one, we are in the zone. Now, we don't have any level 2 or 3 diamonds right here where we are now. We did a couple days back, but we are approaching the bottom of that liquidation zone. And I want to show you this on the hot sensors, medium and long term on the daily, orange on the medium term, red on the long term. That's very nice. Typically where you would be thinking about scaling opportunities in, right? Again, we're watching these standard deviation lines, starting to see an increase, but you can see we've had that choppiness down here. We're not really where we need to be in terms of being up in the upper extremes. So watch that white line. We'll be bringing you Aptos, because I may be making a trade on that one. I'm not sure yet, but I will let you know when I do. And again, on the weekly view, you got level 3 diamonds over here, a cluster of level 3 diamonds. Now we have continued to trend downward here. You can see the red cloud. But that's red and red on the short and medium term on the weekly view with level 3 diamonds. From a long-term perspective, all I can say is at some point here we're being greedy. So just keep that in mind. You heard it here first. And again, I bet you're not going to hear any of these zones or any of these price points or any of this type of analysis any other channel, because no one else has this. And if you have seen it, please let me know. I'll be willing to put my stuff up against anybody else's. So Aptos, really love it here. Again, you can see the high end. We got up here around 560. That's almost that's basically $2 to $6. That's almost a 3x. So not too shabby of an opportunity. That's Aptos again, APT. So we will move on to, what did I tell you? I said Avalanche. I'll come back to Avalanche. Jupiter. Look at this one. I mean, again, almost a 3x here. That's a pretty narrow zone we had identified here. We're in it, or we hit it. We're actually closing right above it today. But again, very nice. We hit a double hit here, a double bottom here in the zone. So not too shabby there. And again, just like we saw with Aptos, Jupiter, it's a DEX play from Solana. Solana is a major player. The significant tokens in that ecosystem will likely do well. Keep that in mind. Level 3 diamonds on the weekly view. We're in the orange. That's not bad. In the zone down here around 25 cents. Upper zones identified for leverage at 65 plus cents. I mean, almost a 3x, folks. Not a bad opportunity. And again, on the hot sensors on the daily, could it have been better? Sure. Orange, yellow and orange, or orange and orange, whatever you want to call it. You can see on the short term, though, it's actually improving. It went down to the blue, but now we're gray, now we're white. If that thing crosses over and this white line continues higher in these standard deviations, again, that's the firing point. This looks pretty good. I really do like this one. Again, I don't have any Jupiter at the moment, but I am heavily looking and evaluating this one. So that's Aptos, that's Jupiter. Again, we'll go back and show you Avalanche again. Again, long-term love Avalanche. I think there will likely probably be an ETF at some point. Again, there's already things being tokenized on AVAX. I think Franklin Templeton might have a fund or two on there. So I think this will be one of the tokenization plays for the future. Again, we busted through the first leverage zone. We're literally in this other zone we've identified, roughly 1366 today. This is December 2nd. Again, yellow. Daily's only in the white, and it's improving. We haven't crossed over yet. I mean, we were red and red on the weekly hot sensors over here on the medium and long term, and orange with level 3s on AVAX. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, like I said, I'm not an advisor. I can't tell you to buy it, but that's a sexy chart. Again, what could we see here? Bouncing off level 3s, just like we did last time. You can see it over here. We had these level 3s, and boom, there we went. I would likely, at a minimum, like to see this thing bounce back to the bottom of the cloud. That's typically where you get resistance and volatility. That would be 19-ish. 1360 to 19. That's just a start, and that's one hell of a return by itself. So not too bad. Not too bad there for AVAX. The bottom of our zone on our daily chart here in this green box, we're talking about 1125. So that's still, that's 10 to 20%, right? So, I mean, we still can see a little pressure here. I mean, our standard deviation lines, again, all three are below that green zone up there. So still some pressure, still some weakness. So, but I really do like it here. It's just a matter of how greedy do you want to be. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if we look at the fear and greed index, I still believe we're in extreme fear. Let's see. We are, 22 today. That's still extreme fear. Those are typically the times in the market where retail folks get scared out of their minds, sell their bags after a loss. Institutions sweep in and buy it up. And then, boom, there goes the market, and people lose out and call it a scam and manipulation, blah, 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 whatever story you want to listen to. But that's typically how this works, folks. So we're at extreme fear. We're in our leverage zones. We have the color schemes we want in the hot sensors, so I don't know what else to tell you. So that is AVAX, Aptos, Bitcoin, XRP. Let's go back and look at NEAR. That's another one that we like. Again, you can see we just came down here, bounced right off the bottom of that zone that we have identified for you. This one isn't quite as strong. We only made it to the yellow in the hot sensors. We are making it back to the bottom of this cloud right now. So again, that's kind of no man's land. I probably wouldn't be willing to do anything here. But I do like near long term. We got a level 3 diamond on the weekly, in the red on the hot sensor. So I mean that's what you're looking for. So again, just wanted to show you that one really quick. Ooh, look at SWE. Here's a nice one. Okay, here's another one. And this one looks even a little bit better than most of these other ones. So here's SWE. I mean, again, show me someone that's pinpointing these boxes. Remember, folks, I may adjust these boxes, but I typically do it before the price action. And you can see this has been out there for a while. I can just go back and look at the videos. I haven't really changed it. We're literally nailing it. So I mean, and we've identified the upper end here. Basically 380 to, let's just say 380 to $4. That's $1.63 to 380 to $4. Hot sensors were red and red down here at the bottom. We don't have any level 2 or 3 diamonds right on this daily candle, but that's pretty sexy. We had red over here on the weekly, had orange over here on the weekly with level 3s. Again, right smack dab at the bottom of that liquidation zone. You can see the other boxes on that view. I'm setting it up for you pretty nicely here. That is SWE. XLM, XDC, we'll leave those alone for now. It's Cardano. Whew. Look at that one. And now I do believe I expanded the box on Cardano based on leverage, so you can now see the bottom, the new bottom range for Cardano, which I really hope it doesn't go down here. But that was 31 cents. We're currently trading at 43 cents. We did hit an orange on the hot sensors on the daily view. The white line on the standard deviation is actually above the red zone, but the orange and blue haven't quite made it to where they need to be yet, which is up through that green zone. So, and we're in the cloud, so this is kind of an area of volatility. But look at this. This is a massive drop here. It was roughly $1. And again, I think we've communicated this in the past. Basically 90 cents to 95 cents is that upper leverage zone that we're looking for here. Over a double up from here, pretty much. So not too bad there. Let's look at. I can skip that one. H bar. Skip that one for now. That may be all I covered today. Let's take a peek here. Dogecoin. Again, the ETF's out. I don't know that it's really performing as they thought it would, which is, maybe okay for now. We'll see. Again, all in the zone. I mean, this is the zone. So, but things look okay. Again, we've identified that bottom around 11, almost 11.5 to 12 cents basically. So we can still see another 10% here to the downside. So we'll see where we land. Again, everyone knows I bought that stuff at 18 cents during a certain call that I promised my community I would do that. So I did do that. But this is one we're just holding for the ETFs. Hopefully it's not a bust, but we'll see how low we go. Upper zone identified, 26 to 30 in the short term. So again, from where we are now, that is a double up. So we'll see if we can get there. Again, level 3 diamonds on the weekly, so not too bad here. Nothing on the hot sensors. So still some work to do for old Doge. All right, guys. Check this out. One of my most respected subscribers brought Plume to my attention not too long ago, and we called out this zone, and we're literally at the bottom of it right now, and that's truly remarkable. They're liquidating all the leverage, which is perfect. But look at where we are: red, yellow in the hot sensors, so that's very beautiful. With a diamond, it's only a level 1. White line, orange and blue lines are still well below the green zone up here in the standard deviation, so we do need some work there. But we also got level 3s on the weekly and red on the weekly. This is very nice. If we can achieve those leverage levels to the high side, we're looking upwards of 15 to 16 cents. That is an 8x, ladies and gentlemen. Hmm. Ooh, me. Yeah. You know what? I don't know that I can actually show you my trades anymore because I don't want this to be considered financial advice. So I'm just telling you, I've shown you the ones tonight that I really like right now. This one is setting up really nicely. So, yeah. Will I make a trade on this? Very possibly. Very, very, very likely. Uh, but I will bring you my trades after I exit them because that makes it a little more safe for me. I can always show you my trades. Obviously, I'm showing you my logic, which that should be enough from an education standpoint, because these are the areas where I typically make trades for my own portfolio. But again, not telling you to buy this stuff, but this chart is very pretty. I mean, exactly what you want to see in the zone at the bottom with a diamond, with the red hot sensors. We're just lacking that one element up here at the top. So very nice there on Plume. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that. TA, again, if you appreciate the content, get value out of it, I'll be doing some more videos this week. Not on vacation. So a couple of y'all reached out to me. I appreciate that. But I am back. I am live. So we will keep these things rolling for you. Like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend if you get any value from it. Tell us how you feel in the chat. We will engage. And until next time, we love you, and we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.